Hi and welcome to OnSide SA. Budge and I are going to go through what's happening this week. The British Premier League's back again. We'll be speaking to our international pundit, Stevie B, who's in Fulham. He'll be talking about things that are happening. Quite a few things happening with referees, with players, with suspensions. But Budge, first things first.
Yep.
Last one standing, it's down to 2.
Yeah, Paul, round 12. Paul,
That's
Dean
very
and,
good.
went to meet Dean at his coffee shop in Umhlanga. So
Did you meet him?
Yeah, I went to meet him. Tracy's in Cape Town, so I can't fly down there, but obviously I liaise with her. And they've, messaged them both and said, can we put their picks on the show? And they both agreed, Paul, so...
Okay, so let's tell them, people. Tracy Anderson fighting to be the first woman.
First woman. She's on Wolves to beat... she's on Fulham to beat Wolves.
And
Dean's on Newcastle to beat West Ham on Monday.
Both good chances, both home
good
teams.
Chances.
Yeah, both good chances. We're pushing hard for the first lady to win it. I hope she goes well, but all the best to Dean.
Great. Liverpool supporter.
Then I'm hoping for Tracy then. Who does she support?
Man City.
Okay, but may the best person win. Okay, well done to both you. You knocked myself and Graham into the Champions League, but all the best. Well done. Montana was the one who
came second. Yeah.
Came second, yeah. Well, try go one better. Well, Graham went out with West Ham, eh?
Graham went out with West Ham, yeah.
Right, the other one is only in week 2, Budge. There's 151 left. That's a train's carnage. Good word, carnage. I'm just going to have a look at Tottenham took 248. You little beauties.
And Stevie B. Yeah.
And Stevie B. West Ham, Man City, Notts Forest, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth and Chelsea. Took them out, eh?
Yeah.
Well. Interesting. They're going to be selections for week 3. This could go in week 6 or something. Eh?
Could be another one before Christmas, Paul, the way it's going. But no, we'll do it.
The post-net guns?
Yeah, Paul, we just mentioned the guys that entered.
How many left?
I think there's only 2.
Yeah, Lance is in, isn't he?
Lance Whiteford, he's still in, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well done to post-net crew. Only 2 left, but that's not bad. 2 out of 150.
There's only 7. I think 8 of them
left.
Now,
the ladies?
13. Paul, we started off with 51. There's only 13 left.
So roughly, it always seems to run at about 10%. Always close to 10%. I'm going to mention them because these ladies have done well and they're pushing to get that first win. Nareska Murugas, Dora Roussos, Rita Weston, Tracy Anderson, Go Girl, Emma Tristram, Linda Potts, Kerry Varga, Babette Hawkins. Oh, good. Yeah. Good. Yvonne Barensa, Kelly Potts. Linda and Kelly's sisters?
Yeah. No, Linda's a mother.
Okay. Kerry and Jocelyn Everett?
Yeah, Stella girls.
Do they take one together?
No, they're separate.
They're separate?
Yeah.
And Sam Cooper Bull?
That's Roger's wife.
Roger's wife, doing better than Roger.
Roger went out, unfortunately, on Man City round 1.
Okay, and in the internationals budget, it's basically the same faces. Just want to see if anything jumps out at me.
Oh, yeah, there's one major one that should jump out.
Who? Mark Aboud?
Yeah.
Mark Aboud's still in. Wow, someone's tipping to maybe Julie's tipping to the Furry Boys.
Yeah.
They're always there, the Furry Boys. Your brothers hanging tough. Eric Nyrek. The Nyreks go quicker than last week's paycheck.
They're both on Man United last week, so stayed in.
Greg Bardnos is overseas, eh?
Yeah, he's in Almere in Holland.
Good for them. Well done. I haven't mentioned them all, but well done to them. And the former champions, how many are in? Colin McCabe's still in.
Yeah.
Well done, Colin. Good Spurs man.
Yeah.
Brett Galley.
Yeah, he's a previous when I went to Liverpool, Man City with Brett, him with Willie Miller, yeah.
Gary Sitton without the E, still in, eh? Tubbs Riddell from Texas.
Spoke to him the other day, Andrew, yeah.
The postman.
Yeah, Lance Whiteford.
Has he won it before?
Yeah, him and his wife. Julie won the ladies.
That's right. George Salensis, our man Georgie. Derek Ramsey, of course. And Ashley Rushton, he's the king.
Mr. Perfect, yeah.
Mr. Perfect, that's right, Mr. Perfect, Ashley Rushton.
Yeah. For the guys that don't know who Mr. Perfect was, there's only one person ever that would have gone 20 games.
All right.
All correct. So Mr. Perfect, Ashley Rushton. So guys, just one thing, try and get it. I know the 2-hour time delay is a problem, but try and get it to 12:30 SA time. It's a nightmare. There are some guys at work, but...
Yeah,
I want to try and get it.
You want to try and win it now, 151 left, but I believe our man is in freezing country over in Blighty. Steve, are you about?
Yeah. You're here?
Yeah, is it freezing?
How's the temperature, Steve?
How's your tongue?
Oh, no.
Well, while they reconnect him.
Oh, you're back,
you're
Steve.
back.
Okay.
Freezing there, Steve. We're not getting a good signal
Not getting
at the
a
moment.
good
We'll
signal.
get our technicians in.
Froze up, so.
The line's frozen. Steve, we've got a couple of show topics. We'll discuss them onto the team, but just the one about the referee, his comments. Is it David Cootie's comments about Jurgen Klopp? Oh, okay. Steve, you still there?
Keep those topics till we get Steve back on the line.
Okay.
And do you agree? He's back.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Steve, are the referee's comments about Jurgen Klopp?
Yeah, I mean, the fact was that this was something that was recorded about 4 years ago.
Oh.
Why it's sort of come out now seems a bit sort of strange. Look, I mean, obviously that's, ridiculous that he was stupid enough to be, to say it. Whether or not he realised he was being recorded or not is another thing. But obviously they've suspended him pending an investigation. There's no evidence that it's had any effect on the way he's refereed, and he's obviously one of the top referees, but it's just the fact that it's come out 4 years after it was
recorded. Yeah, but
that is.
Now, see, they're having a full go. Now they've got him snorting cocaine or whatever it is. They're having a full go, the English press. Yeah, that's a bit harsh. But,
a bit harsh, give me Sven ref. He's a good ref. He's lively. Steve, I was watching this morning on Sky News. They've appealed the Bentancur 7 games.
I'm surprised. Well, look, at the end of the day, I'm not sure whether they can appeal it, in all honesty. I mean, it's Tottenham have agreed that, in principle, he should be punished.
Yeah, guilty.
I suspect he was punished internally in the summer when it all arose. The fact that they've taken a long time, the Premier League FA, to come up with this decision, it is quite harsh, but maybe it's sending out a message that obviously racist comments are just not acceptable.
Yeah, they have appealed, Steve, so they must be able to appeal, and they said that's it.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, the sentence for that type of offence is between 6 and 12 games. They've given him 7, but he can play in the Euro games, which I suppose helps. He's a good player. Okay,
Yeah,
so
correct.
that's that.
He can play in Europe, but not domestically.
Yeah. I actually I read what he said. It was more tongue-in-cheek than having
you've seen the video. It's a
personal.
Joke.
It was
a joke.
I think he's actually right what he said, because as Orientals all look the same.
Yeah, they do, but you can't
say it.
It's a racial slur. At the bottom line, it's a racial slur.
I bet Son would have laughed at it, but unfortunately you can't say that. So anyway, Steve, on to the weekend, and first game up.
Yeah.
Leicester City versus Chelsea. We all know after the international breaks that the first game up isn't favourite, and should I say, for the favourites, and especially as Caicedo played for Ecuador on, I think it was Wednesday morning, so I don't know if he's going to play, or if he does, he's going to be under pressure. Can you see an upset here?
Well, look, they've all got players that have been away, and the one thing that we won't know until today or tomorrow, when the managers or coaches have their press conferences, who they've lost because of injury, or somebody like Caicedo, or players that have played in South America and only get back today. Look, Chelsea have got a large squad. They've been rotating fully in European games, so it could well be, if he's without 2 or 3 key players, he's got others he can bring in. Leicester, I don't think, have got that luxury.
No, but Leicester will be sitting waiting for them now. Yeah, I just think this is good.
But it's Saturday lunchtime. We know that you often get upsets. I think it's the sort of game that you'd think on paper Chelsea should be winning, but Leicester are going to give it a full go, as they have done recently in their home matches.
Yeah, I just don't like these lunchtime kickers. And if Caicedo's missing, he's been great alongside Cole Palmer. I'm siding with bookings here. I'm taking the easy route. I think this is going to be a bit of a physical battle. You've got to fancy Chelsea, Paul, but I prefer bookings. Okay. Steve, a team that have to win this weekend is Arsenal. Is at 9 points behind their leaders after 11 games. If they don't get a result here, they're almost gone. I know Notts Forest beat Liverpool at Anfield, but Newcastle beat them fair and square in their last appearance. Surely Arsenal got to get a resounding victory here.
Look, you would think so, and as you say, they have to win basically. But again, we don't know. There's over whether Declan Rice, Saka will fit. We know that Trossard may not be. Daka obviously were not fit enough to travel and play for England. Whether or not that's more precautionary than anything, but it is a must-win game. Forest, as you say, will be by New.
Yeah.
And again, they've got some Chris Wood that was played for New Zealand.
Yeah.
I don't think any. So I think Arsenal. Obviously those are very short on. I think.
Yeah, they're even money to win by more than one goal. I fancy them. But one thing about James Ward-Prowse is expected back. He came off the bench. And one thing about him, his set-piece delivery is outstanding. So I think Notts Forest may be able to pinch a goal. I thought 12-10 both teams to score, is worth looking at. But Arsenal to win and both teams to score, yes, at 24-10. That's my selection. But I fancy Arsenal to score a couple here, and Arsenal to score over 2.5 goals is 15-10. I thought that was worth considering. Aston Villa, who unfortunately has been struggling lately at home against Crystal Palace, another team who, other than beating Spurs at home, are under severe pressure. Steve, home victory?
It should be. Villa though, it's interesting. Obviously they have. But it's coincided with their dip in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So they got in to the Palace had and were without a lot of key players weekend before last against Fulham. I think that Villa should start as clear favourites, but they need again. They seem a shadow of the side as they were last season, and they've here they are, sort of quite a few points adrift at the moment.
Yeah, if Eze's injured, then I fear for Crystal Palace. And remember, they did knock them out of the League Cup where Aston Villa played a rotated squad and Villa stuck them out 2-1. But I expect Villa to get back to winning ways, even though they have lost their last 4 in all competitions.
Jeez,
I feel for Crystal Palace. They're not as strong as they were. And if they don't get a few results, they're going to be in trouble. Bournemouth, Brighton, Steve, 2 well-coached sides. I fancy Brighton of the 2. Do you agree?
No.
Yeah, it should be a really good game. They're both playing very well and had some good wins recently. Obviously, Bournemouth, as we know, in fact, they've both beaten City, which is you wouldn't have thought that a couple of months ago that they would beat City. Again, I think Brighton have got a few injuries, so whether or not their patched up squad is going to be enough to go and win at Bournemouth. I think there'll be goals. I think it'll be a really good game, two good footballing sides. I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel each other out though.
Yeah, definitely. I think the score draw at 26-10 looks worth an interest. Everton, Brentford, Steve. The more I looked at it, I thought Brentford had a squeak, but then I had a look at their away record. It's absolutely woeful. Yeah. Everton, they've only lost 1. I think it's at the last 6, and that was at Southampton. And I saw the last 20 minutes. That was it. Beto missed the sitter, and Southampton went down and scored. I think there'll be goals in this, Steve, purely because
Who do you like, Everton?
Brentford. Of the 2, I like Everton. How do you see it, though?
Yeah, Brentford, as we know, they've lost all 5 of their league games. Opponents the other way. Everton have made themselves hard to beat.
Yeah.
The one thing that I understand is Brentford have got a few potential key injuries, so I think there's Waymo or Visser are available. They both had knocks. Now, obviously, if they are without them, then I think Everton certainly form favourites. I fancy the home side. I think it's a sort of game that will be low scoring, even though Brentford score goals, but away from home they've struggled. So for me, I think Everton or a draw.
Yeah, Brentford are very good at set pieces and that, and so are Everton. That's why if I have to side with somebody, but obviously I didn't know about the injuries. But anyway, let's see what happens. On to our second page, Stevie. Fulham at Wolves. There's a lot of people I think will be on Fulham this week in the competition. Surely you've got to beat Wolves.
Yeah, I think the odds might be a little short. Again, we've got a lot of players who are travelling back. I think Wolves have as well.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate with injuries, and if our squad who are away come back unscathed, we're going to be pretty much at full strength. And I suspect Marco Silva will play an unchanged team again. Who've won the last couple. Look, Wolves have certainly picked up. If you looked at their first sort of 6-7 games, they were a shambles. But the last 4, they've made, they won and done it. So unlucky against City, drew a couple.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a closer game than maybe the form guide. But I think Fulham should just come out on top.
Yeah, I think Fulham to win and both teams to score 24-10. I think there'll be goals, Steve. One thing about Wolves, they don't hang back. And I saw 17-10 over 3.5 goals. Yeah, that's worth. And my boy that I saw that I really respect him once I saw him warming up with the kids at Preston is Emile Smith-Rowe. He's 28-10 to score, Steve. And the way he's playing, I think he scored against Palace.
Well.
He's playing well.
In fact, I mean, we've got a number of players that are all sort of chipping in with goals, and that's of interest. Yeah. So, Jimenez played for Mexico and scored tonight. So, again, he just...
You never know with them coming back, do you?
No, we'll know later, but, I think he will try and play an unchanged squad if they're fit and fit enough to play.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the big game of the weekend, Man City Spurs. What do you think, Paul? Another upset?
No, there's a couple of factors to consider.
Yeah.
You don't want to take on Man City now. That's one. They're really going to have the wounded Buffalo. The other factor is we always do well against them home and away. But the third factor, and the most troubling for me, is our away form this year. Yeah. We've won one of our last four. I think City will definitely beat us, but I'm hoping for a draw. I think City are going to come out firing. If they don't, then I don't think they'll win the league.
Yeah. Is Van der Veen fit for Spurs?
I don't know.
Because with a high line, Paul, if he's not there, you're going to get caught. I just think this has got goals written all over it. One thing Spurs can do, Spurs do score. I saw over 4.5 goals is like 22-10. Man City to score 3 goals is 9-10. Spurs will score. So Man City to win, both teams to score is 15-10. That's my suggestion.
I see Pep's got an extension of his contract.
I was going to say.
But he's going to have to, when you start looking at the age of his squad.
No, he's got to
replenish. When you look at Walker, the best midfielder in the world, De Bruyne,
Rodri, Bernardo Silva.
He's got 35 years old that he's going to have to replace. But he always seems to find them.
No, he's no mud.
If we can get on top, get a goal and play well, it'll be a good game.
You'll score, you always do.
Yeah, but early I'm hoping. Because first half have been our worst half.
Yeah, let's hope you do.
But,
Steve, any chance of an upset? Steve,
are you upset with us?
Yeah, look, they beat City
in the League Cup,
in the Cup. But you just sort of think that Tottenham may have, a couple of have got key players out, and I just think City are to go 5 defeats in a row. I mean, it would just be unbelievable. Tottenham, I think, shocked everybody. Losing at home to Ipswich last time, and again they're going to be determined to put it right. But I think what you're saying, both teams to score, but City to come out on top.
Yeah, it looks the right way. Steve, Southampton, Liverpool. Liverpool, a lot of their major guns.
Certainties.
Didn't play the second game. Klopp didn't play. Salah wasn't with Egypt. Gakpo never played. I know McAllister played for Argentina, but surely they've got to outclass Southampton.
You would think so. I mean, the way that both teams' seasons are going, Southampton, they've had a win, but basically they've lost all their other games.
Yeah.
Liverpool just seem to be, when you look at the form guide in the last half a dozen games, there's only one team with any form at all in the Premier League, and that's Liverpool.
I'm going to back Liverpool to score.
Jota's out. I think Jota's out. We know, but otherwise, I think Liverpool should win by at least a couple.
Yeah, Liverpool to score over 2.5 goals is 12-10. The bet I like was at 3-1. Over 2.5 goals, both teams to score no. I think Liverpool will win this 3-4, and it was 3-1. I thought that was a big price. On to another game on Sunday: Ipswich versus Man United. Is this the upset of the weekend, Steve?
No. Well, look, you just don't know. I mean, Ipswich, surprised everybody with the way they played and, hung on and won their first game away at Tottenham. But, are we going to have the sort of the Ruben Amorim factor? He's obviously got a squad of players that he won't know, and some of them are only just returning today, whether or not he can impose his style of play, because he likes to play a very attacking 3 up front, and whether or not he'll do that. He's got time for United to change the way they play. A lot of eyes are going to be on this game. He's going to want to start with a bang. I think United might surprise 1 or 2 people, and I just think players you'd think want to play for him. So I just got a feeling that United might get something there, might get a result.
Yeah, let's hope so. You know, they've got to start with a bang. But to me, what can a manager really change? The attitude. You can't buy any players. It's going to be the same team that's there.
Formation.
You know, if he is going to have a go, let's hope. But I'm going to back Casemiro to score at 4-1. You know, he's going to be bombing forward. Ugarte reportedly fit. But I think there's goals, Steve. Over 3.5 goals, 14-10. That's my suggestion. And last but not least, Newcastle, West Ham, Steve. How do you see it?
Well, Newcastle seem to have sort of woken their early season slumber.
Yeah.
That was it was a very good second half performance last time out at Forest, and deservedly won, and beat Arsenal before. And I think that the way West Ham have been playing, particularly away from home, you'd expect Newcastle to win that comfortably.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I think 12-10, them to win by more than one goal is a fair price. I just worry about West Ham. I think this manager's in line, 1 or 2 more bad results, and he's in trouble. But you've got to fancy Newcastle on Monday. On to the Championship, and there's a Friday night game. Wayne Rooney's team, they've been getting plenty of flack at Rooney at Plymouth.
They're doing a video on Plymouth.
Yeah. Oh, are they?
They're doing a video, like something into Lardava. This is just on Rooney at Plymouth. They got cameras following around, training and playing, and they say it'll be very good.
Let's hope. Steve, they actually got a good record in the last 5 at home. They won 4 and drawn 1. Can they upset Watford?
Yeah. I think so. Watford are a strange team. I mean, obviously they had a huge win at Sheffield Wednesday recently, but otherwise, away they've not been very good. You know, this is a long way to travel on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And, again, weather's not
long way to travel on any night
down there. I think Plymouth should certainly start as favourites. You know, they've hauled themselves up from near the bottom because of their home form.
Yeah.
And I think that they may well carry that on.
You just never know with Watford. 7 away games, 1-1 and drew, and lost 6. Remember seeing the highlights. They beat Sheffield Wednesday 6-2 in their away game. Unbelievable. But I agree. Plymouth in the draw. Bristol City, Burnley. Burnley have sold me down the river the last few weeks. They're struggling to score goals, Steve. Bristol City 19-10.
Yeah, that's not a bad price. I mean, Burnley themselves, I mean, they're not losing games, but as you say, they're struggling to score. They've drawn a lot.
Yeah.
It's the sort of game you could go either way. I mean, Burnley probably start just because, they make the spot to beat, but I can see a low score draw in it.
Yeah, 4 goals in the last 7 games doesn't inspire much confidence. Steve, I'm all over Sheffield United. Defensively, they're as good as any team in the league. Coventry, I know they fired Mark Robbins and they got a good result at Sunderland coming back from 2-0 down. But I don't like what I see and read from Coventry City. I fancy Sheffield United here. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they seem it's a pretty sort of good value odds there, and I'm surprised that Coventry are being shown as favourites, especially sort of managerless. But as you say, Sheffield United is completely a different side than they were from last year, and not conceding. So I think that could be the key. So for me, an away win.
Yeah, got to agree there. Sheffield Wednesday, they got beaten the Sheffield Derby in their last appearance, 1-0 away. Can they rebound against against Cardiff City?
They can do, but it could be a tough game. Cardiff have really, under the new manager, really pulled themselves up.
Yeah.
And Sheffield Wednesday, as I say, I was expected them to win at Bramall Lane, but it wasn't a particularly good game.
Yeah.
I watched it, and it was probably the right result. I think they'll probably just start as favourites, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cardiff gets something there.
Yeah, it looks like 1-1 written all over it. On to our second page in the Championship, and the team that beat Blackburn, we had it on ESPN, I watched it. Blackburn got back to their best. I think they won 3-1. Surely they've got to beat Portsmouth at home?
They should do. They sort of stopped scoring goals, at the beginning of the season, especially when Smodix was still there. They were scoring for fun. So it's been tough. But again, Portsmouth, they were sort of rock bottom. They're pulling themselves up a little bit now. So I don't think this will be quite as straightforward, but I think Blackburn should be favourites.
All right. Luton Town, too strong for Hull City?
I think that they will be. Hull have been very disappointing. No wins in the last 6.
Yeah.
Recently, I think Luton again not having the season that a lot of people expected, but I think they will be too strong for them.
Yeah, big game in the Championship. Millwall versus Sunderland.
Sunderland top.
Sunderland's still top.
Yeah, very big game. Yeah, Millwall are the top of the form league. 4 wins and 2 draws in the last 6. Not conceded. I think conceded 2 goals in those games.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a big game, big crowd. Sunderland are are right up there still on goal difference. Split up, very surprisingly, recruitingly, Smith. I think this will be a very good thing. For me, low scoring, but
Millwall, they beat Burnley and Leeds last 2 home games, so they've got to have a chance of upsetting another table topper. Oxford United, Steve, I know Middlesbrough won their last couple, but I watched Oxford United at Watford and they had a few chances. Surely they've got to be better than a 9-2 shot at home against Middlesbrough?
Yeah, I think those are, those are maybe a little bit too skewed in favour of Middlesbrough, but Middlesbrough are playing well at the moment.
Yeah.
They look very good. The thing is, they're inconsistent, but they do score goals.
Yeah.
Oxford have got a great home record, but I just got a feeling Middlesbrough might just be too strong this week.
Okay, on to the final page in the championship. My hometown boys, Preston.
The 20th.
I think we're too good for Derby County.
Yeah, Derby have done better than a lot of people expected. Preston at home won't make it easy. They're very inconsistent, as you know only too well. I think that they start as favourites, Preston, but I think it's going to be a pretty close game.
Preston, good things. QPR, who's struggling against another team that I think will be in trouble in the relegation patch, Stoke City. How do you see it going?
They find themselves, at the bottom of the pile, and I think that they need a win to pull themselves out. I'm not sure what you're going to get from them, but they've had some tough games recently. QPR, Stoke, you're not sure. They had a new manager. They started off okay, and now they're sort of fall away again. I just got a feeling again they could cancel each other out.
All right, Steve.
Okay, we just wanted to ask you a question, Budge. That they've got these 2 teams, QPR and Stoke City, as joint favourites just about.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, 24th plays 13th. Shouldn't Stoke City be better?
Well, the problem is, Paul, they've got a new manager and the writing's on the wall. Apparently the players aren't happy with him. So that's the only thing. When it comes to Queen's Park Rangers, they are woeful. So I'm surprised the betting's like that, Paul. It's just that Stoke City, you just never know. Like a lot of teams in the championship, you fancy them and you go for them and you end up doing your money. So maybe that's the only reason why QPR.
So they bottom the log, QPR.
Yeah.
Neil Horsman's bunch.
Neil Horsman's team. No, he'll be there on Saturday.
Saturday, 5 o'clock, QPR. Okay, sorry. We're just sorting out a little gremlin with Stevie's computer.
Yeah.
Let's just move on. In the meantime, you and I can talk about it, but you can give me your opinion. West Brom.
Ever since I tipped them to have a good run, they've won 1 and drawn 6. They can't score goals.
But they're in the top 5.
They're in the top, they're in the playoff places. Norwich City, other team, Paul, they can score goals, but they've been woeful. They went to Preston and were diabolical. So this is a great chance for West Brom to get back to winning ways, Paul, to get back really, because you don't want to be in the playoffs, you want automatic.
Yeah. And then Swansea City 11th played
Paul,
Leeds.
you've got to fancy Leeds United. Swansea City play good football, but they don't score. I think they'll score against Leeds because Leeds are gung-ho. So, it was 5-2 Leeds to win and both teams to score. 5-2, that's my suggestion there.
Okay, well, we'll get back on. If we can get Steve in a moment, we'll just carry on because I would like to get his best bets, but we've seen, just quickly touch on South Africa, too good for South Sudan.
Paul, when we went on Friday, I went to watch it. We qualified because the other 2 teams in our league, Congo Republic and South Sudan beat them. So we qualified with Uganda. So it didn't really matter the game, but we played well, Paul. 2-0 was a fair result. That was on Friday, and the other night we played, Paul. We destroyed that team, South Sudan.
Yeah, we're all over them.
We're looking good, Paul.
Are we looking better?
Looking good, better.
Because we won our group, 14 points, beat Uganda, 13, Congo.
He's done a good job, Hector Bruce, Paul. The fans are confident. At least you can watch them, Paul.
Talking about a guy who's done a good job, Magesi FC, Budge.
Clinton Larson,
What a job he's done.
Came up last year.
They've beaten Pirates, Richard Bay, TX Galaxy, and now they're going against the unbeatables, basically.
Paul, they've got to keep it tight early on, and the longer it goes, you never know. But, Paul, the only...
Where are they playing it?
They're playing it in Bloem.
Carling Cup final is in Bloem.
Bloemfontein.
Saturday, 6 o'clock, Magesi FC, Sundowns, 1-3 favourites, Magesi 7-1. Are Magesi in a position to come up?
No, they're in the league, Paul. They got promoted last year. That's why Clinton stayed with them. They're in Polokwane way.
Okay, so That's that. So you say Sundowns.
Paul,
too
good.
Sundowns.
Their boy, they got some good players, Paul.
Yeah. Okay, the last but not least, let's just get these bets on. I was just speaking to Dees about that football, what's it?
Soccer 13.
Soccer 13. Wow, big money, eh?
If you can catch it, Paul, but it's the hardest bet in the world.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look what you got here,
Yeah,
Butch.
Paul, here's Soccer 6 for the weekend. And the first one, I'm chancing to bank at Chelsea to win at Leicester. I'm on the field in the Bristol City Burnley game. Sheffield United win and draw at Coventry City. Going for Sheffield Wednesday to avoid defeat at home against Cardiff City. The field in the Spanish game between Valencia and Real Betis. And I'm chancing Borussia Dortmund at home. They're invincible to be too good for Freiburg. 2-1-6. On to our second Soccer 6. There's a couple of teams that are fancied, so I've had to be a little bit creative here. I've thrown the draw in with Arsenal at home against Notts Forest. I think Aston Villa will be too good for Crystal Palace. Gone the fields in the Bournemouth, Brighton, Everton, Brentford fixtures, bankering Fulham to beat Wolves, and I've thrown the draw, and you never know with Man City.
Good
so
man.
I'm taking a chance, even though that perm looks straightforward. 2-1-6.
The 10.
Onto the Soccer 10. I'm bankering Arsenal to beat Notts Forest, Aston Villa to beat Crystal Palace, signing with Brighton to avoid defeat at Bournemouth, Everton win and draw at home against Brentford, and Fulham to be too good at home against Wolves. Onto the second page, French claim, League One. I've gone the field in the Lens versus Marseille clash, going for Sundowns to beat Magesi. The field in the big game in Italy, AC Milan versus Juventus, and ending up with two Swiss games. I'm going Grasshopper Zurich, win and draw at home against FC Winterthur, and Young Boys of Bern to avoid defeat at Lucerne, 288. On to our Soccer 13. I start off with a few bankers. I'm going Man City to beat Tottenham Hotspur, Arsenal to beat Notts Forest, Wolves to beat Crystal Palace, Brighton to avoid defeat at Bournemouth, going with Everton, win and draw at home against Brentford. Two bankers, Fulham to beat Wolves and Blackburn Rovers to beat Portsmouth. On to the second page, I'm going Luton Town, win and draw against Hull City. Millwall, looking for the upset, win and draw at home against Sunderland. And Middlesbrough, to avoid defeat at Oxford United. Bankering my hometown boys, Preston North End to beat Derby County, and ended up with two home win and draws. Queen's Park Rangers at home to Stoke City, and West Brom at home against Norwich, 256. On to our budgies bets for the weekend.
But before you get on them,
yeah,
we've got on Steve.
Yeah, we're after the Gremlins. Who's he on?
Best bets. Luton Town.
Yeah, I thought so. And Sheffield United.
Yeah, well done, Budge. Okay, get on to your bets, Budge.
Okay, on to our best budgies bets for the weekend. I'm going both teams to score in the Fulham Wolves game. I'm going over 4.5 goals, Man City versus Tottenham. The jump from 3.5 to 4.5 was unbelievable. And I'm going over 2.5 goals, both teams to score no in the Southampton versus Liverpool game, 4,400 to 200. Our team goals only. I'm going Brighton and Fulham to score over 1.5 goals. And I'm going Man City and Liverpool to score over 2.5 goals, 2,800 to 200. On to the championship, I'm backing Blackburn to beat Portsmouth and Preston to beat Derby. And Leeds United to beat Swansea City and both teams to score, 3,000 to 200. Both teams to score sides are Millwall Sunderland, Oxford Middlesbrough, Queen's Park Rangers Stoke City, and West Brom Norwich City, 2,400 to 200. On to Spain, I'm going over 2.5 goals in the Atletico Madrid Alaves game. I thought that was a gift at even money. Sevilla to be too good for Rayo Vallecano at home. And the best value bet of the weekend is Real Madrid to score over 2.5 goals at 18 to 10. That treble worked out 2,400 to 200. And Collis King 6 on Nixa. I'm going Aston Villa to beat Crystal Palace, Liverpool to beat Southampton, Blackburn to beat Portsmouth, Preston to beat Derby County, Atletico Madrid to beat Alaves, and Real Madrid to beat Leganes. 16-1. I thought it was a great price, 3,200 to 200.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to getting back to the Premier League football.
This international break's torture.
International break, absolutely. And this weekend, some fantastic games.
Some good games.
Some good games of football this weekend.
I
think a lot of people are looking at the performance of your Man United with the new man in charge, and looking to see if The Man City can stop the rot. Arsenal can stop the rot. It's very interesting this weekend.
Big weekend, massive weekend, Paul.
Yeah, massive weekend. Till next time, stay on side.